I wanted to choose a topic that was relevant and something that impacts our daily lives. Thus, I chose drinking water and the problems associated with it and the solutions that go hand in hand. Throughout this presentation, I'll be discussing the following areas: drinking water conditions around the world, how is it transported, where does it come from, the effects it has on people if contaminated, and how technology aids both positively and negatively. According to TheRichest.com, the following are the top 5 greatest countries in regards to drinking water. Amongst the top 5 are Switzerland, Norway, Luxembourg, France, and Austria. Something to note: the U.S. is not on this. The U.S. is not on this list. In general, we do not have great drinking water. Part of the reason why we aren't on the top 5 list is that we heavily use World War I era water delivery systems. These dated pipes often break and contamination infects the water supply. If not maintained, serious issues can occur. Here's a simple diagram of how water is exported to your home. It is straightforward. Water comes from the main line, which then branches off to your house. The difference in pressure from the water tower and the source is what drives the system. As noted in the diagram, the blue pipe is the main pipe, and the red pipe is like the sewer pipe. There are two, both of them are different. There are a few things that need to be moderated to have good drinking water. The most relevant ones are lakes, streams, reservoirs, and wells must be protected from pollution. Pipes must be sound and well maintained, and modern treatment facilities are a must. Without these, water can easily become contaminated and infected. Current problems with drinking water, aka tap water. Lead, pathogens, also known as germs, and byproducts of substances such as toxic chemicals, carcinogens, and the most potent contaminants found throughout the U.S. inside our drinking water. Contamination within the water source, such as lakes, rivers, streams, and aquifers, are protected from pollution to minimize contamination. Once again, if these water sources become contaminated, it is us who are dealing with the consequences. And not something to note, not all filtering devices can protect from all the contamination. The most common source of contamination is pesticides and fertilizer, animal waste, and industrial pollution, but here is a large list of all the different types. Something to note, mining waste isn't that popular around here, but it is throughout the country. How does technology actually help? That's a very good question. Over the past decade, technology has greatly helped with improving how water is transported and filtered. An example is the HydroPack. The HydroPack provides clean and fresh water and protects the water from contaminants. It's not really common in the US, but is common in third world countries, such as maybe like India, maybe parts of China, basically poorer countries that don't have the resources to provide proper drinking water. How technology helps continued. Capturing underground rainwater helps individuals obtain clean, filtered water at little to no cost. There is an initial cost that you need to pay, but after that, it's a very low maintenance. It requires very little power, very little electricity. It's something to consider if you're actually concerned with your tap water, because filtered groundwater is actually very, very good for you. It's actually very, very clean. This is a pretty dated idea, not recent. The gravity water design revolutionized how water is transported. This is how most systems are actually ran. Based in a nutshell, the concept is simple: have the source at a high altitude and let gravity do all the heavy lifting, as noted by the diagram. So what is currently being done to prevent contamination and to ensure healthy drinking water? The government is taking the initiative to fixing and repairing outdated lines and imposing strict regulations towards businesses. Without imposing these regulations, history shows, they really don't give a damn. They will contaminate the water at the expense of producing cheaper products. As a consumer, there's very little you can do because on a global, in a global scale, it's very, very, very hard. But there are a few little things that do add up. Avoid polluting and properly recycling does help. To keep it simple, consumers can reduce, reuse, and recycle. We should always give credit when credit is due. Here's a list of sources I used throughout this presentation, and thank you for listening.